Everyone tells you the same thing after you fail. Don't give up. It's only the beginning. The game isn't over yet. Keep believing. At first, those words sound inspiring. They make failure hurt a little less. They convince you that tomorrow will be different. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what if those words are the very reason you never change? If there's one fictional character willing to ask that uncomfortable question, it's Ego Jinpachi from Blue Lock. Unlike every motivational coach you've ever heard, Ego isn't interested in protecting people's feelings. He's interested in exposing the lies they tell themselves. And according to him, one of the most dangerous lies sounds surprisingly positive. He calls it dream doping. Not because dreaming is wrong, but because dreams can become an excuse, a drug, something people use to numb the pain of reality. It's a brutal idea, but the more you think about it, the harder it becomes to ignore. When people lose, something painful happens. For a brief moment, reality becomes impossible to escape. Maybe you weren't skilled enough. Maybe someone else was simply better. Maybe your effort wasn't enough. Maybe your dream is much further away than you imagined. That moment hurts. It attacks your pride, your identity, the image you have of yourself. Most people never stay in that moment. They escape it immediately. Not by improving, by speaking. It's just the beginning. I'll get there eventually. The game isn't over yet. Sometimes those words are true, but sometimes they're nothing more than beautifully disguised excuses. Excuses that protect you from admitting something far more painful. I wasn't good enough. That's the sentence people fear. Not because it's permanent, but because it feels personal. So instead of accepting it, they cover it. They wrap it in motivation. They replace honesty with comforting words. And little by little, they stop confronting reality altogether. This is what Ego calls dream doping. It's not the dream that's dangerous, it's the addiction to chasing the feeling of the dream while refusing to face the reason you're not reaching it. At some point, the dream quietly changes. Your goal is no longer to achieve it. Your goal becomes protecting it from criticism, protecting it from failure, protecting it from reality itself. Because if reality destroys your dream, it also forces you to question who you are. So you avoid reality instead. You keep repeating the same phrases, the same promises, the same optimism. Not because they're moving you forward, but because they're stopping you from looking backward, looking at your weaknesses, looking at your mistakes, looking at the uncomfortable truth you've been running from. And that's why years pass. Not because people lacked ambition, but because they became experts at comforting themselves. The strange thing about pain is that it has a purpose. Pain tells you something is wrong. It demands attention. It demands change. But when you immediately cover that pain with empty motivation, you silence the only voice trying to help you improve. The wound is still there. You've just stopped feeling it. That's why Ego refuses to comfort people after they lose. He says something almost nobody else has the courage to say. Be courageous enough to accept reality and feel despair. At first, that sounds cruel, but it isn't. Despair is what remains after every excuse has been stripped away. It's the moment you finally stop negotiating with reality. The moment you stop saying, it's only the beginning, and instead say, I wasn't good enough. Ironically, that's also the first moment real improvement becomes possible. Because now you're no longer fighting reality, you're learning from it. Most people think confidence creates growth. Ego believes honesty creates growth. Honesty is painful. Honesty attacks the ego. Honesty forces you to admit that talent, discipline, intelligence, preparation, or effort may not be where they need to be. But honesty also shows you exactly what needs to change. Excuses never do. Then Ego says something even more profound. Failure is a crossroads. Every defeat eventually asks the same question. Will you protect your pride or your future? Protecting your pride feels good. You explain away the loss. You blame circumstances. You tell yourself, tomorrow will magically be different. Nothing changes. Protecting your future feels completely different. You allow reality to break the version of yourself that wasn't enough. You let go of the identity you've been protecting. You accept your weakness without trying to decorate it. And only then, a new path appears. Not because life became easier, but because you finally stopped lying to yourself. That's what Ego means when he says the path to your next potential only appears when you're willing to let go of your current dream. Not the dream itself, but the illusion you've built around it. The illusion that effort alone guarantees success. The illusion that wanting something badly is the same as deserving it. The illusion that refusing to quit automatically means you're moving forward. Sometimes, refusing to quit is courage. Sometimes, it's just fear disguised as determination. Fear of admitting that something about you has to change first. In the end, Ego Jinpachi isn't telling people to abandon their dreams. He's asking a much more uncomfortable question. Are you chasing your dream, or are you chasing the feeling of believing in it? Because those are two completely different lives. One demands truth, the other survives on excuses. And perhaps that's the hardest reality of all. The greatest obstacle between you and your dream is rarely failure. It's the excuse you tell yourself 5 seconds after it.